Rahul Gandhi is the Congress's star campaigner. Okay, Priyanka Gandhi brings in a certain amount of sort of enthusiasm. But that's it. Let's be honest. The Congress does not have a third star campaigner today. The PDP wanted to be on board. Then their behavior had to reflect that.
But he led on 15 of the 18 assembly segments in Baramulla constituency during parliament polls.
By that logic, then we led on 30 something. So then why have assembly elections? Let's just convert parliament elections into assembly.
But
that engineer Rashid, well, he's not an engineer. I don't know why we insist on calling him an engineer. He's not even a diploma holder. But what does Jamaat have to show for the last 35 years? What have they achieved for Jammu and Kashmir? What is the guarantee that PC won't support BJP tomorrow?
But we have seen.
What is the guarantee that PDP won't support BJP tomorrow? I know for a fact that tactically BJP has been trying to support PDP in some areas because Government of India committed to the Supreme Court. I am witness to that commitment that Jammu and Kashmir's statehood will be restored.
But if they get the state back, that's the point. When? Omar sir, thank you for speaking with me. You had a long campaign across Jammu and Kashmir. What is your reading of the situation after the three-phase campaign is over?
Well, third phase is yet to go to polls, but the first two phases, reports are good. Some seats will be close, but by and large, the trend seems to indicate that people are preferring the sort of the candidates that are part of the alliance, because there's a lot of suspicion about the motives of the BJP in terms of trying to divide votes, in terms of trying to engineer results, which I think this time at least people will not allow to succeed. Now the challenge in this third phase is that this is the phase in which the BJP is expecting to pick up maximum seats. Because this phase has the plains of Jammu, Samba, Kathua, that entire area. This is where BJP's strength originally lies. So now we see to what extent Congress is able to stop this move of the BJP. From our side, we've done everything possible to stop it in the rest of J&K, particularly the mountains of Jammu and in the valley.
You have campaigned before and you have also contested parliament polls and also assembly polls. How different were these elections? Because this is for the first time that an election is being held in a union territory.
No, that's true. But that is more symbolic than actually felt on the ground. I think a lot of people expected, at least outside of J&K, that somehow this election would see a miraculous rise in turnouts, particularly given that there's no sort of overt boycott call, no overt threat. There was this expectation that there would be this sudden jump in turnouts. But the reality has been different. The reality has been that, in fact, in a lot of constituencies, turnouts have dropped. It's only some of the seats towards Jammu side that have raised the overall percentage. Otherwise, areas in J&K that have traditionally, or in the valley, that have traditionally sort of seen high turnouts, Gandarbal district, Badgam district, areas like Noorabad in South Kashmir, actually saw a decline in turnout, which is something New Delhi needs to take a look at and try and understand why.
You are contesting from two assembly constituencies, Gandarbal and Badgam. Initially, you had said you will not contest. That's not my question. But did it pose a moral dilemma to you that first you said, I will not, then you said...
Well, obviously. I mean...
You did contest from two constituencies.
When a person changes one's mind, and that too very publicly, it does raise questions. First of all, there are questions that one has to answer to oneself. Subsequently, you then have to answer them publicly. So it was sort of a conflict that I sort of fought with both internally and then obviously in terms of putting it across in the public domain. But it's done now. Both seats have gone to the polls.
Okay.
Both seats, votes are in the machine.
Machine.
Now we wait for the 8th of October.
Would you say that this election is your biggest political test yet?
Every election is a test. Uh, 2002 was a test. It was my first election as president of the National Conference. 2005 or 2004 Parliament was a test because I fought it with Mufti Sayyid as Chief Minister. And everybody knows what he tried to do in terms of splitting the National Conference, etc. So that was a test. 2014 was a test because we fought it as the ruling alliance on the back of the floods in J&K. So I don't know. I mean, look, it was a test, but in different ways. But I don't know whether I could categorize it as the biggest test. In some ways, an election in which the sort of general trend is favorable is easier than an election that you fight sort of knowing that the mood is against you. And 2014, we knew the mood was against us. We just lost all the parliament seats earlier that year. We knew that there was a simmering anger against National Conference. So actually, if you ask me, I think in some ways that was a tougher election.
Okay. I'm saying this because a lot is riding on the alliance, especially the regional parties, National Conference and Congress has formed an alliance against the BJP. So a lot is riding on the regional aspirations of the people on this alliance. Also, the PDP is
No,
also in the
I fully understand that. But then that's for the voters. The National Conference did what it could to put an alliance together. We surrendered seats that really we shouldn't have. We surrendered seats to the Congress where I have no doubt we would have put up a good fight, probably even won maybe a handful of them. But we did it because we believed that the alliance with the Congress was the strongest possible message to the people of Jammu and Kashmir, that here was an option that did not involve the BJP, that did not need the BJP. Because otherwise there was this belief that Jammu would go one way, Kashmir would go the other, and that you'd end up with a hung assembly. Therefore, we gave people the option with a pre-poll alliance, that here is an option that removes the possibility of a hung assembly should you vote for this alliance. Now, if people haven't or don't, then that's not on the National Conference and the Congress. That's more on the voters.
You also said that Rahul Gandhi should concentrate more in the plains of Jammu
Well,
rather than in
I
Kashmir.
didn't quite say that. I said when he's done campaigning in the valley, they need to campaign a bit in Jammu, and I'm not wrong. Look, Rahul Gandhi is the Congress's star campaigner. Okay, Priyanka Gandhi brings in a certain amount of sort of enthusiasm, but that's it. Let's be honest. The Congress does not have a third star campaigner today. They have others. I mean, they have sort of leaders in the Congress. I'm not saying they don't. But once Mrs. Gandhi stopped campaigning, once Mrs. Sonia Gandhi stopped campaigning, then really the two big star campaigners are Rahul and Priyanka. When you compare that to the BJP has enormous bench strength. You start with the Prime Minister, then the Home Minister, then the Defense Minister, then the Chief Minister of UP, and you work your way downwards from there. Okay, now these are, I mean, they are by far sort of the strongest campaigners in the BJP. So, in a way, it's a little unfair that, I mean, 6 or 7 leaders of the BJP, Rahul has to counter them almost single-handedly. But that's the challenge of leadership, and therefore, as I said, I mean, in this third phase, it's a direct contest between the Congress and the BJP. We have very little role in it.
Yes, it's being said that the third phase, especially the Dogra Heartland, 24 seats going to polls on October 1, that will decide whether NC Congress alliance will race ahead in the race to power or the BJP. Would you agree?
I entirely agree with you, and that's what I told you. I said this is the phase where the BJP thinks it will make the most difference.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't take rocket science, as you said. 24 seats in the heartland of Jammu.
Yeah.
seats that the BJP expects to do well, seats that the National Conference, other than one or two seats, is not contesting. Therefore, sort of this is the phase that really will determine what the government will look like
But National Conference
after
is
the 8th of
contesting
October.
Nagrota seat.
Well, we're contesting Nagrota, we're contesting Jammu. I forget the names. Jammu
I think you
South,
are also
North,
not
East,
Jammu
West. There
North.
are so
Ajay
many names.
Sadotra is there.
Sadotra Sahab
Sadotra.
seat. Okay, so we're contesting that. We're contesting Kathua.
Yes.
We are contesting Vijaypur.
Vijaypur, yes.
So
Sunil, Sunil.
four odd seats.
4 odd seats.
Is there a fifth one? No, I think it's just these
Four
four
seats, four
basically.
seats. But you are also backing Harshdev.
Well,
Chennai.
that's one seat.
You are
Yeah.
also backing him.
That's another strange one because we're backing Harshdev in his seat, but
Yes.
he's contesting in a whole lot of seats where our candidates are. But then I mean, I guess he'll call them a friendly contest.
That has been, troubling reality of these elections that despite alliance with Congress, we have seen friendly contests, then disgruntled elements also.
Well, look,
chipping
disgruntled elements will always be there. And tell me which party doesn't have disgruntled elements?
BJP
Every
has it.
single
Congress
party
has
has had disgruntled elements, from the BJP to the Congress to NC, PDP, even AIP of Rashid, that has had disgruntled elements. Sajad Loans, PC has had disgruntled elements. I think the party with the most disgruntled elements has been Apni Party of Altaf Bukhari. Yeah, I mean, look at the erosion from 2 years ago till now. That's a hallmark of election, this Ayaram Gayaram culture. That said, we don't have much experience with pre-poll alliances.
Yes.
We haven't had a pre-poll alliance since '87.
Right.
So, I mean, give us some credit that in 90 seats, other than 5 or 6 seats, we were actually able to stitch a pre-poll alliance. Congress, with all its intentions, wasn't able to do the same in Haryana. Today, Aam Aadmi Party and Congress are fighting against each other in Haryana. Right. At least we didn't allow for that to happen in JNK.
You had a pre-poll alliance with the Congress, but you dropped PDP.
Well, we never had any pre-poll alliance with the PDP, ever.
PDP wanted to be on board.
Well, that was up to the PDP then. If the PDP wanted to be on board, then their behavior had to reflect that. You can't use your annual raising day or whatever their function is to attack the National Conference relentlessly and then say we want to be on board in an alliance. You don't field your candidates against the National Conference in parliament elections and then say we want to be part of an alliance. You did not even assist the Congress in the 2 seats in Jammu during the parliament election. Show me one rally addressed by any PDP leader. So it's all very well to say we want to be part of an alliance. But then it has to reflect that. I think if anything, the PDP should be grateful that they're not part of an alliance. It's given them a chance to at least regain some political space. Maybe they wouldn't have been able to fight as many seats if they had been part of an alliance. So, look, for the last couple of years, I've been saying that Jammu and Kashmir's political space will essentially go back to what it was pre-2019. You will have Congress, BJP, and sort of fighting for Jammu, National Conference, and some others sort of on the margins. The valley will be largely contested between National Conference and PDP. Parties like Apni Party will disappear. PC will become relevant only to a handful of seats in North Kashmir. Jamaat will sort of play some part. What part they play, we yet don't know. But that's what Kashmir's political space will look like.
But then that also holds good for the major regional parties if BJP comes to power, NC, PDP. They will also face issues if BJP comes to power. We have seen when BJP comes to power in any place, they try to finish the opposition.
BJP is not coming to power here on its own. They're not contesting enough seats to come to power on its own. I mean, it's all very well for the Honorable Prime Minister to say that on 8th October, BJP will form its own government. But I don't see a road to that because you've hardly contested seats in the valley. Okay? You're not going to win every single seat that you're contesting in Jammu. So please show me how. I mean, I know that you've sort of rigged the system to give yourself 5 free seats. वो तो आपने पहले ही ले लिया. Now that's another matter that we'll have to figure out how we can contest that legally. We should have done it earlier, but for various reasons, I don't know why we didn't. But that aside, I don't see how the BJP has a route to a government on its own, which means it is going to have to come to power with allies. Now, who those allies are, we'll wait and see.
Okay, and is the Congress and NC alliance, or for that matter, the regional parties, afraid of Engineer Rashid's growing appeal?
No, why should we be? He's been a flash in the pan.
You have been calling him a
Why?
proxy,
What else would you call him?
a BJP
What else would you
sponsored.
call him? A man who is unwilling to categorically say that he will not support the BJP.
Mm.
A man who says his doors are open for everybody. A man who now admits that he knew Article 370 was going to be removed way back in 2018 and kept quiet about it for a year. A man who has been set out of jail just for 20 days to divert votes. Day after tomorrow, he goes back to Tihar jail.
Right.
What else would you call him?
But his party says that Omar Abdullah is a bad loser because he lost the parliament polls.
I have never lost badly. Ever. I have always taken my losses on my chin and I have bounced back from there. But this is not about me losing parliament elections. It's about the motives behind AIP contesting these seats. Mm-hmm. How else do you explain AIP and Jamaat coming together? How else do you explain? I mean, please explain to me the choice of candidates. If he is not a proxy of the BJP, please explain to me his choice of candidate in Birwa, a man who for 5 years has carried out Delhi's agenda. Mm-hmm. Please explain for me his choice of candidate in Sumbal Sonawari, whose entire politics has been about where Delhi tells him to go. Mm-hmm. These things don't happen by chance.
But he led on 15 of the 18 assembly segments in Baramulla constituency during parliament polls.
By that logic, then we led on 30 something. So then why have assembly elections? Let's just convert parliament elections into assembly.
But that has been reinforced.
How has it been reinforced?
No, I'm saying because NC led on 34 segments in parliament polls, that kind of created an impression on ground that NC is going to emerge stronger in
Parliament results do not get converted into assembly results. Okay. They are entirely different. And I would hazard a guess that engineer Rashid, well, he's not an engineer. I don't know why we insist on calling him an engineer. He's not even a diploma holder. But anyway, leave that aside. Rashid will not repeat his performance from parliament in these assembly elections. Will not.
Since you're hazarding a guess, how many seats AIP is getting?
Huh?
How many seats?
Single digits.
So you mean to say that he will be restricted to his own district?
I am saying that even with his alliance with the Jamaat, AIP will come in single digits.
Did his brother approach you before parliament polls?
Yes.
With what?
With an offer to support.
Who?
National Conference, me.
Okay. And what was
your response? Said no. I said no because I believed at that time that he would face sort of retribution from the ruling dispensation through even their proxies here, who were the original candidates against me in North Kashmir. And I didn't want that on my conscience.
Okay.
So while politically it may not have been the best decision, I have no regrets.
How do you see the participation of Jamaat and some separatists contesting these polls for the first time?
By all means, okay, that's what democracy is all about. But Jamaat can't go silent on its last 35 years. They need to explain to people what the last 35 years was about. They spent 35 years demonizing Sheikh Abdullah, saying that Sheikh Abdullah's accord with Indira Gandhi was a sellout.
Right.
At least he had something to show. There was a piece of paper that was signed by the sovereign government of India. What does Jamaat have to show for the last 35 years? What have they achieved for Jammu and Kashmir? Sheikh Abdullah never advocated violence here. People lived a peaceful life, even though he spent time in jail. Jamaat needs to explain. And Jamaat also has this very strange way of sort of cobbling up alliances. On the one hand, they will ally with Rashid in some seats. In Badgam, they will support Aga Muntazir Mehdi because he's fighting against the National Conference. So Jamaat's own politics is confused. But that said, democracy gives everyone the right to contest. I'm glad they've sworn an oath of allegiance to the Constitution of India. At least now they can't sort of talk about separating Jammu and Kashmir
from India.
from India and joining it with Pakistan, which is what they talked about for 35 years.
But then the BJP is right when they say that, look, we have fixed the problem in Kashmir, today separatists are contesting. That kind of indicates the
Well, you haven't quite fixed the problem in Kashmir because you need to explain then where the 75% of the votes in Srinagar went and why they didn't come out. You haven't fixed the problem.
But still, there is an improvement compared to what we saw in the past.
How? The numbers are lower than 2014. Your turnout numbers are lower than 2014 in a large number of constituencies. How do you explain that? If you have fixed the problem, why is your turnout lower? If you have fixed the problem, why are there encounters in Jammu today? You've not fixed the problem. Yes, you've been able to force the Jamaat to come forward and contest elections because they want their bank accounts released. They want their schools to be freed from the ban. They don't want the threat to their lands. But you haven't fixed the problem.
Now, after the third phase, results will be out on October 8. Are you ready to consider getting PDP on board if you need them for?
Let's not get into ifs and buts. We'll talk on the 8th. We'll talk on the 8th.
What is your read? Just as you said, Rashid will get one seat. What is your?
I didn't say one seat. I said he'll get in single digits.
Single digits. And what about PDP?
I don't know what is your at the moment. Look, a lot of seats are going to be close. A lot of seats, the margins will be a little tight. You can't predict those seats. So we'll wait and see what happens on the 8th.
So you can say the same about your own 2 seats, they're going tight?
One might be, one I don't think so.
Which one?
No, leave it. We'll wait and see what happens.
I want to ask you one last question. A lot is riding on these elections in terms of the people's sentiment. People have come out and voted, hoping that the regional parties will come to power and they will rid them of the feeling and sense of insecurity, disillusionment. But if that doesn't happen, don't you think that the democratic process itself will get discredited? If obviously we saw people coming out saying that they feel disempowered post Article 370, disillusioned, disenfranchised.
Well, we'll see how they vote then. Let's see how they vote. Look, if they vote for parties that in the past have supported and enabled the BJP to come to power here, then they have only themselves to blame.
No, but you said that BJP is getting most of the votes from Jammu.
True.
I'm talking of the...
True, but then regional parties here have enabled the BJP to come to power in 2014.
Yes. Yeah, regional parties...
So supporting them is a tactical vote to enable the BJP to come to power again. What is the guarantee that PC won't support BJP tomorrow?
But we have seen...
What is the guarantee that PDP won't support BJP tomorrow? I know for a fact that tactically BJP has been trying to support PDP in some areas. This is a fact. In North Kashmir today, there are areas where the BJP is tactically trying to support PDP at the cost of the National Conference. What is the guarantee that PDP won't support BJP tomorrow if they need the numbers?
So you're saying that there are parties who could side with the BJP post-elections, but National Conference will not go.
We have a pre-poll alliance with the Congress for exactly that reason.
This alliance was largely
this alliance, inshallah, will be elected to office on the 8th of October.
But you have been yourself saying that this will be the most disempowered assembly.
True.
So but then how would you cater to the large aspirations of people who came out to vote, irrespective of the party?
They know what assembly they're voting for.
Yeah,
they know what assembly they're voting for. They know.
But they're casting a bet.
Yes, but they also know
that things will change.
True. Things will change. This assembly will become an assembly of the state of Jammu and Kashmir.
Right.
That assembly will at least have some more powers than this current one has.
Okay.
And that's a start.
Okay, then you are basically banking on this assembly that slowly and steadily things will change.
Not slowly and steadily. This assembly will be empowered. It will have to become a state assembly. The Prime Minister of this country has committed as such. And should that not happen, there is always the Supreme Court, because Government of India committed to the Supreme Court. I am witness to that commitment, that Jammu and Kashmir's statehood will be restored.
Parliament is supreme on Supreme.
No, it's not. It is not.
Because
Supreme
we
Court.
have heard-
Supreme. Look, Parliament of India did. Parliament of India did not announce your elections. Election Commission of India did not give
But
you these
Parliament took
elections.
away the statehood.
Supreme Court gave you these elections.
Parliament took away the statehood.
Who ratified that?
No,
Who ratified it?
Supreme Court gave a verdict.
Supreme Court ratified it, right?
Okay.
So Supreme Court can tomorrow ensure that statehood to Jammu and Kashmir is restored.
The BJP can again tell the Supreme Court that there is a certain situation, we need more time. Just
No.
as we saw when
The
Article
Prime Minister himself has committed to restoring of statehood.
Yes, he has, but
He
there's no
has.
time. There's no timeline.
That's okay. We'll ensure the timeline is implemented by the Supreme Court.
So, in a sense, you're saying that you will go to Supreme Court if the statehood.
I'm not saying I will go. I'm saying that the elected government of Jammu and Kashmir should go.
Should
I have
go.
not been elected to government.
But if it's a BJP government, why should they go to
Then
Supreme
they don't need to go. Then Modi Sahab will give the BJP government statehood tomorrow.
In which case, the larger question remains: what about the sense of disempowerment in Kashmir and Jammu? It will grow. People will
Why
lose,
will it grow if they're
lose
getting
faith in
statehood back?
democracy.
Why will it grow if they get their
Because-
state back?
If they get the state back, that's the point. When? There's a big question mark on when.
No,
when
you
when
people-
Kashmir
look,
will get the
look.
statehood. Because you and other parties
Nobody-
have made it a
listen,
central point
nobody-
in these elections
nobody-
that statehood will be restored.
Nobody has gone to the people, at least not from the national conference, and said statehood will come the day after elections.
All political parties manifesto speak of statehood. The
Exactly.
restoration of Article
Exactly.
70.
And we say that we will fight for it.
That's a long fight. It's a long shot.
No, that is that now you can't choose which way you want to the wind to blow. That's very convenient for you. The fact of the matter is that the national conference has been honest with people in their speeches that this is not the assembly that we want, it's not the assembly that we deserve, but this is the assembly that enables us to get to that assembly. And I am sure the Prime Minister of India will not lie to the world when he says Jammu and Kashmir will get statehood. These are not conversations that he's had privately with you. These are conversations that he has had with the public of Jammu and Kashmir, with the world at large.
But
He comes to Jammu and he attends a public meeting and he says Jammu and Kashmir, UT was temporary, statehood will be restored.
Okay, statehood will be restored, but what about the power that Jammu and Kashmir had? It would be sort of a, like Delhi, where Arvind Kejriwal is struggling.
I'm sorry, but I don't understand. We're not asking for Delhi. We're asking for, and we will get, statehood. Delhi is not a full-fledged
You mean
state.
pre-August 5 statehood? Now 2019?
I mean statehood like UP, Punjab, Haryana, Uttarakhand, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Kerala, Tamil Nadu. How many states do you want me to name?
But we already know that some subjects have already been made central
No,
subjects. Police
those
has
are
a separate
that is-
budget.
Look, that is part of our union territory dispensation.
Right.
That is not part of the state dispensation. When you are a state, division of powers is very clear. There is the union list, there is the state list, there is the concurrent list.
Okay.
At this point in time, because we are a union territory, obviously all union subjects are with the union, all concurrent subjects are with the union, and some state subjects are with the union. The moment statehood is restored to Jammu and Kashmir, the only powers the union has in toto are the union list powers, which is no different from any other state. Concurrent list powers will be shared by J&K and the union, and state list powers will be exclusively for the state. Where is the sort of confusion in this?
I hope that it comes true. And lastly, you are saying that you will not go with BJP, you would rather sit in opposition than
I
ally
am
with the
telling
BJP.
you that the whole purpose of a pre-poll alliance was to tell people that this is a road to government that does not involve the BJP. And we are hopeful that the people will have supported it.
On that note, thank you very much speaking for speaking with me. It was a treat. Thank you very much.